I think you could find at least 30 NBA fans that genuinely believe that the Sacramento Kings for the last 5 years have been one of the most disappointing and underwhelming franchises. But I really only want to highlight one player today. It's not Malik Monk. It's not Keon Ellis, two of the most underrated and slept on players in the league. It's not DeMar DeRozan. It's not Zach LaVine, the new Bulls duo that went to Sacramento to try to will them into a, I guess, playoff hopeful situation. It's, in my opinion, the most confusing player in the NBA, Domantas Sabonis. Now, I touched on Domantas Sabonis in the slightest way possible when it came to my video on Victor Oladipo, but this is nothing like that. Domantas Sabonis, to me, is the most confusing player in the NBA and the most confusing superstar for sure in the NBA. Domantas Sabonis is one of the most, if not the second most, and I'm going to say this with my chest, offensively gifted centers in NBA history. I mean, he is beyond talented. Think of Jokic, but not Jokic. Like that's literally what Sabonis is. Domantas Sabonis provides so much value on offense, but he's a traffic cone on defense. And that just makes me question, why can't Domantas Sabonis provide winning? Why can't Sabonis bring a winning culture with him wherever he goes? Sabonis is one of, if not the best rebounding center in the NBA, arguably. He is also one of the best, probably the second best passing center in the NBA, arguably. And with that, he can create his own shot in the post. He's fluid in movement, and he's able to bring his teammates to play better on offense. But the problem is that Domantas Sabonis provides nothing on defense. Sabonis is a traffic cone on defense. One of the worst defensive centers that plays over 30 minutes a night in the NBA. Now, he has gotten DPOY recognition before, just based on numbers. In the 2023 to 2024 season, he got 10th place in the voting. But besides that, he's just not that great at defense, is the best way to put it. He's just not that great. So how can Domantas Sabonis provide a winning culture? Because he's one of my favorite players in the league, but he's also not going to make my favorite team in the league any better. Now, I'm not a Kings fan. I'm a Raptors fan. But in the perspective of, could the Raptors get some Domantas Sabonis, and would I be comfortable with him being my number one, number two option? I don't think so, ever. I think Domantas Sabonis needs to play in a very specific system with very specific archetypes around him in order to flourish. And I think there's one team that makes the most sense for Sabonis to play for, where he would legitimately be the most valuable center in the NBA over Nikola Jokic. I think if Domantas Sabonis played in the Oklahoma City Thunder system, he would not only be the most valuable center in the NBA, but he would honestly flourish into one of the better players in the NBA. Domantas Sabonis next to Chet Holmgren and Isaiah Hartenstein would be the perfect partner in crime in the paint to deflect shots and create a good defensive scheme, with shooters on the wing like Cason Wallace, Lou Dort, Isaiah Joe, J-Dub even, Jalen Williams, the other one. There's plenty of options, and I'm probably forgetting some, Aaron Wiggins, that he can kick out to and register those assists. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and him can run one of the meanest pick and rolls that we saw Domantas Sabonis and Oladipo play. Domantas Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox play. I mean, Domantas Sabonis might be the best pick and roll center in the NBA, and it might not even be close. Sabonis provides so much value on offense that it's almost laughable that NBA teams aren't all over this guy, especially in today's game where offense is the most valuable aspect in any sort of NBA system. And yet Domantas Sabonis feels like he's just kind of lost. It just feels like he's just kind of floating, putting up these great offensive numbers, but also can't provide much on defense. So what is he? Is he Alperen Sengun? I'd argue Sengun is better on defense, but I'd argue Sabonis is better on offense. So, I mean, where do we find the line? What is Domantas Sabonis? He's a star. Is he a superstar? Could he be a superstar? Could he be an MVP candidate? I mean, he's been a candidate 2 out of the last 3 years. Honestly, I think in 2022 to 2023, Sabonis should have been top 5 in voting, arguably top 4. Domantas Sabonis provides so much value on offense. What is he? I want him to be better on defense. He just can't be. Domantas Sabonis can't be your number one option on defense, ever. He can't be asked to guard your best player, ever. He's gonna get exposed because I don't know why he's a traffic cone. His feet are so fluid on offense. Why is he a traffic cone on defense? Is his defensive IQ? Is it his recognition of help? I don't know what it is, because his offensive IQ is so high, you figured you'd be able to translate that to defense, but somehow Sabonis doesn't translate at all. He's one of the most lackluster centers on defense, but he's still amazing, and I still love him. So Domas, Why is it not working? Why can't he provide a winning culture? He has the perfect blend of attributes in order to make a winning culture wherever he goes. Offensive explosiveness, the ability to play make, the pick and roll game, and that's like the most perfect thing you can look for in a modern offense. A great center who provides a great pick and roll is more valuable than anything right now in the league, maybe besides an archetype like Victor Wembanyama, like Nikola Jokic. I'd argue the way Sabonis plays the game is more valuable than the way Embiid plays the game. Embiid needs the ball in his hands. He needs to hit a little cross, get to the elbow, pull up from midi, draw a foul. Sabonis can set a screen and all of a sudden he's rolling. He's stopping at the elbow. He's creating second chance opportunities on the offensive glass because of how strong he is. Sabonis, his archetype should be the best in the NBA, but he's not. Why not? Is it just a skill cap? Is it a skill issue? Is that what I'm realizing, that Domantas Sabonis has a skill issue and that's what's holding him back? I can't believe that. I don't think he's reached his peak. I think he just hasn't found the Domantas Sabonis system. But then again, what team can appeal to a Domantas Sabonis system? I really do believe the Oklahoma City Thunder could, but they could appeal to anybody. So who else could? You need a point guard that's elite in the pick and roll because that's where Domantas Sabonis can flourish, but you also need wing shooters and you need the defense to back him up on the defensive side. So maybe the Miami Heat, him and Bam Adebayo in the paint would be a lethal defensive duo because Bam Adebayo is probably the most valuable defender in the NBA when it comes to guarding 1 through 5. Maybe that's a hot take, but Bam Adebayo is a sick defensive player. You have Tyler Herro, who's only improved in the pick and roll game, and that would also take stress off of Bam on the offensive side. Bam doesn't need to put up these great offensive numbers. Bam Adebayo is an elite defender, so it's time for Bam Adebayo to embrace that role as an elite defender, take a step back on offense. Don't shoot 35% from the three from me, Bam. Instead, let's maybe shift and maybe Domantas Sabonis gets a little bit more involved. I would love to see Domantas Sabonis in a Miami Heat jersey. I think that's like another perfect fit. The only other one that I can think of is the Lakers, but they just don't have the defense down low to make up for his capabilities on defense. Now, offensively, him and LeBron and Luka would be perfect, but defensively, then you just have another problem: is who the hell is going to stop the other team? No, none of them are. None of them are. The Warriors wouldn't be bad. Draymond Green's one of the best defenders in the NBA. He shouldn't have won DPOY, rightfully. But again, the fit is just different. So it comes down to what team can give Domantas Sabonis the best fit to be one of the best players in the NBA. The Oklahoma City Thunder, the Miami Heat, the Memphis Grizzlies, even with Jaren Jackson Jr., John Morant, the pick and roll. Those are three teams that I'd love to see trade for Domantas Sabonis. And I think he should be available. The Sacramento Kings need to blow it up, restart, start fresh. It might be 10 years before you even contend again, but you can't win a championship with this team, and they need to recognize that. They're sitting on a gold mine with Domantas Sabonis. If I was an NBA executive for one of those teams, or even a team where I think I'd have the sliver of a chance to go after and win a championship, and I have the system to appeal to Domantas Sabonis, I'm going all in. I'm putting my cards on one player, and that's Domantas Sabonis. And I do believe Sabonis has what it takes to win an MVP. Will he ever? No. Domantas Sabonis will never win an MVP. But Domantas Sabonis has all the tools to be one of the best players in the NBA. And NBA executives need to jump at the opportunity to acquire him, because at the end of the day, he's a very valuable offensive player. And if you have the defense to make up for him, all of a sudden you have one of the best low post combos in the NBA. I mean, there's so much potential. I could go on and on about Domantas Sabonis. We saw it in Indiana. We're seeing it especially in Sacramento. This guy is insane at basketball. I want him to get a real opportunity and a real system, but it's just not going to happen in Sacramento. And that's my take on Domantas Sabonis.